the 11th week of the year. Now, so it's it's the Heart's week. And has, I mean the Heart set of 13 weeks, the Heart season, and it being the 11th week, it's the Jack of Hearts week. Essentially, it's the circlet. It's the week of the circlet, and because the first week of the year, that's the foundation, and from the June solstice, that first week, that's like the first heart, and so we deal with the first heart, the conditions of the first heart, and the foundation heart, and everything that means, and we experience it, and we interact with that condition, and then we have 7 days to do that in. 7 is like the limit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So it's not only a foundation week, being the first week of the Hearts, but it's that first day of the week is the foundation day. It's for setting the foundation. So it's a thing within a thing, an inqua. You have 7 days to interact with the heart, with the foundation heart, with the first heart, with the heart of all, so to speak. And that sets the tone, you see, for the entire year. And already we've gone through each week. The second week is 2 of Hearts, and the third week is the 3 of Hearts, and the fourth week is the 4th of Hearts, and so forth. All the way up to the 13 of Hearts, 13th week. And of course there's 4 seasons in the year. And the first one is Hearts. And the second one is Spade. And the third one is Diamond. And the 4th one is the Club. Now, Jehovah's angels, Jehovah's kingdom, we should say, kept this information alive through the Dark Ages, through the playing cards, and through a lot of different ways that they kept this information alive. And what better way, if you're dealing amongst the beast, you make a game of it, playing cards and all that. Well, anyway, those things are actually related through the Zion world is known as Kabbalah, but we know as faith this is the tree of light. The Hi'ai, tablet of Hi'ai, is a representation of that in Oahspe. And in that, we'll see the heart in that first row. Well, actually, it's the first row where there's more than one entities. And then there's a second row, and then there's a third row. And in that first row, you have the heart on one side, and then actually the heart is also, we can also call it the downward tugged heart. And it's like if you take a spear and you tie a string there through the balloon, a spherical balloon, and then you down through here, and it goes through here and all the way down here, and if you pull it, it tugs it downward, and it tugs it down into a heart. See, from the circle, and you tug it down, it tugs down into a heart. It forms a heart. That's the downward tugged hearts, and the tuggings of the heart have to do with that. And so it's the downward tugged heart. But the spade is the upward tugged heart, the upward looking heart. It's tugged upward. It's the same sphere, only now it's tugged upward. And so that's on the opposite side. And so the heart is in the left-hand column down at the bottom row. I'm not talking about those underneath and those above, but those 9 right there in the core of it. And so over here you have the spade on the right-hand side, the upward tugged heart, and the diamond is located up above. If you look in the tablet of Ai and Oahspe, you'll see it there, that's the diamond. And then up at the third row is the club, right in the middle there. That's the hidden Sephiroth, and it means brotherhood. The actual form of it is like that, and the symbol of it, it means brotherhood. And that's the club. And so anyway, so in the playing cards, you know, they show the club as being black, but essentially it means receptivity or white. It's actually white, or the mastery of white and black, so to speak. But it's more of a receptive color. And then the reds, which are the sort of going forth color in many ways, which is, so if you think about it, so you have the heart, the red heart, and then you have the white or the black spade, which is also a spear point, like a spear point. And that's suitable for what for Oahsians, because the Oahsians are destroyers, and of course they use the spear. And the reason that I say Oahsians is because Uz sits right there. That Jehovah and his 8 children, that is to say the family of the universe, the 9 entities, they make up those 3 rows, 3 columns in the core of the tree of light. And that's the position of Uz down there. And so you have the upward tugged heart there, which can also be used in the lower, you know, in the lower interpretation, in the lower manifestation of it as a spear, as a destroyer, as a killing thing. But it can also be used to rise upward, to pierce upward, to penetrate upward, to get to the next level. And so the next level up is the diamond. Now the diamond starts at roll. So actually in the climb up the tree of life, you start at the base, the foundation, and depending upon the development of it or how it's laid out, and that kind of depends upon man's development, where man is in his development, corporeal man in his spirit, in his spiritual development, where he is in his comprehension and all that. But really, there's one there, there's one there, and then there's 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, and then you have the crown at the top. And so you have the rows way down here at the bottom, and then you have the corporea here. So it goes 1, 2, 3 up to the heart, 4 up to another hidden Sephiroth, another hidden station, and that hidden station is the Eon, or actually it's the union of the seed and the anchor, which the ancients called Eon because that was the easiest way for them to understand it, because they weren't, you know, to understand the union of the seed and the anchor, what does that mean, and so forth, you know. This union of the seed and the anchor, that actually is the union between these 2 hearts, between the downward tugged heart and the upward tugged heart. And so that's the next in the step, and then the next step goes to the upward tugged heart, and then you go from there, you know, with the upward pointing heart, you rise up into, now this, but where you were before you rose up, this, you know, you have 3 rows, essentially, and not including those down there, but you have 3 rows here. Now this row represents corporea, and this row here represents spirit, or atmospheria, and this up here, this top one, represents mind as well as etheria. And so you go from corporeal to the spiritual. And so that's to rise up into understanding of the spiritual, you need an upward pointing heart. you have to aspire toward the spiritual in order to, to rise up to it. So, but when you rise up there, you see, you rise up into the diamond. Now, the diamond, it has a lot of different meanings and a lot of different sort of aspects. And I'm not saying any of the meanings are necessarily incorrect, but it depends upon the facet and how you're looking at it. But one thing that it does mean is that it does contain the spirit. It's like the diamond sort of represents the crystalline aspect, in a sense of being crystalline in spirit. And but the lower aspect of it, you see, when you read the ceremony of Hoed, well, but in the Hoed, they said, well, the shiny corporeal, the shiniest, hardest, most adamant corporeal thing doesn't attract me. The shining diamond, it doesn't, and because it's the spiritual, because that's what the meaning behind that is. It's the spiritual diamond that is the attraction, that is the point of spirit, where you want to be, where you want to rest your spirit in. And then the next step is here to the sun, and then to the eye. I'm using the symbols that are in the Heiai, tablet of Heiai, which Heiai means of life. That means the tree of life. And then so from there it goes up to the crescent moon, and then it goes to the second hidden Sephiroth, which is actually learned about probably first. And the Kabbalists, I think some of them know about this hidden Sephiroth. And this one down here is basic. I've never heard of anyone ever mentioning that one, although it might be there at some point. But this hidden one up here is the Brotherhood one, and that's where the club is. And then you go to the star over here in this column, and then you go up to the crown up here.